Seniors, stop right there. There are 9 everyday foods you should never put in the refrigerator, and the reasons may surprise you. Could your fridge actually be harming your health day after day without you even realizing it? Sounds unbelievable, doesn't it? But hidden behind those cold shelves are common foods that react badly to refrigeration in ways most seniors have never been told about. This isn't just about ruining flavor or making food soggy. We're talking about chemical changes, loss of key nutrients, and even increased risk of harmful bacteria, all triggered by cold storage. And here's the shocking truth. More than 99% of adults over 60 are still refrigerating these items, without knowing the toll it could be taking on their digestion, heart health, and even brain function. Some nutrition experts now suggest that our modern dependence on refrigerators might be quietly fueling the rise in long-term chronic conditions. But today, we're breaking the silence and uncovering the real science. In this video, you'll discover the 9 foods that should never see the inside of your fridge and the safe, natural ways to store them instead. Pay close attention to number 2 on this list. It could surprise you the most. Every fact we share is supported by peer-reviewed scientific research, and you'll find all the study links in the description below. Before we dive in, tell us in the comments where you're watching from, your age, and whether you've noticed certain foods changing texture or taste after refrigeration. We're reading every response and giving personalized tips just for you. And don't forget, hit the like button and subscribe so you never miss our new videos on senior health and wellness. Now, let's get right into it. Number 9. Potatoes. This one might surprise you. Storing potatoes in the refrigerator doesn't just affect flavor, it can actually create toxic compounds. Here's why. When potatoes are chilled, their natural starches rapidly convert into sugars, a process known as cold-induced sweetening. That sugar may not seem dangerous at first, but once the potato is cooked at high temperatures, it reacts with amino acids to form acrylamide, a chemical the International Agency for Research on Cancer lists as a probable human carcinogen. Research from the University of Idaho found that potatoes kept in fridge-like conditions saw sugar levels jump by nearly 300% in just 2 weeks. The damage doesn't stop there. Cold storage disrupts the potato's cell structure, leaving the texture gritty and the flavor oddly sweet. Ever noticed your mashed potatoes tasting off? Refrigeration is usually the culprit. So how should you store them? The best environment is a cool, dark space, around 45-50 degrees F. A pantry, cellar, or even a simple cardboard box works great, as long as it stays away from light, which triggers the production of solanine, the green toxin that makes potatoes unsafe. Use a paper bag or basket that allows airflow, never plastic, since moisture speeds up decay. And here's a smart tip. Keep potatoes and onions apart. Both release gases that cause the other to spoil much faster. Ideally, keep them a few feet away from each other. Handled properly, potatoes can last up to 3 months. In the fridge, you'll ruin them in just 2 weeks. Number 8. Bread. This one always surprises people. Your refrigerator is actually making bread go stale faster. It sounds counterintuitive, but food science proves it. Cold storage speeds up a process called starch retrogradation, where starch molecules reorganize into crystals and force out moisture. A study from the Institute of Food Technologists found that bread stored in the fridge staled up to 6 times faster than bread kept at room temperature. In their tests, refrigerated bread turned firm and crumbly in only 3 days, while bread on the counter stayed soft for nearly a week. The damage isn't just in texture. Cold temperatures also break down the delicate flavor compounds that make fresh bread smell and taste amazing. That's why refrigerated bread often tastes bland or even like cardboard. The best solution? Store bread at room temperature in a bread box or paper bag that allows just enough airflow to prevent mold while maintaining humidity. If you won't finish a loaf within a week, slice it and freeze it. Freezing actually locks in freshness better than refrigeration because the process is so quick that it doesn't damage the structure. When you want a slice, take it straight from freezer to toaster. That's the trick. Never thaw first, or you'll invite moisture issues. Do it right, and your bread will taste nearly as good as the day it was baked. Number 7. Honey. Honey is one of nature's most remarkable foods. It literally never spoils. Archaeologists have discovered jars of honey in Egyptian tombs over 30 years old that were still safe to eat. But put honey in your refrigerator, and its quality can decline in just weeks. Cold temperatures accelerate crystallization, turning smooth, golden honey into a hard, grainy mass that doesn't dissolve easily. Even worse, opening a cold jar causes condensation, introducing moisture that can damage honey. Research from the National Honey Board found that honey stored below 50 F can lose up to 35% of its antimicrobial properties, the same compounds ancient civilizations used as a natural antibiotic. Refrigeration also changes honey's flavor. Honey contains over 180 flavor compounds, and cold temperatures can break them down unevenly, leaving your premium raw honey tasting flat or artificial. The solution? Keep honey at room temperature, ideally between 64–75 degrees, in a tightly sealed container away from direct sunlight. If it crystallizes, simply place the jar in warm water and stir gently. Your honey will return to liquid form without losing its beneficial properties. One more tip. The darker the honey, the higher its antioxidant content. But dark honey is especially sensitive to cold. Refrigeration can significantly reduce these valuable compounds. Number 6. Coffee. Coffee lovers, listen up. That premium coffee you're keeping in the fridge, you're actually ruining it. Refrigeration is coffee's worst enemy, and here's why. Coffee beans are naturally porous, which means they absorb odors and flavors from their environment. Your fridge is full of aromas from leftover meals, cheese, and other foods. Your coffee soaks them all up. That's why your morning cup can taste off. Cold temperatures also create condensation on the beans, leading to premature aging and even mold. A study by the Specialty Coffee Association found that refrigerated beans lose 60% of their aromatic compounds within just 1 week. The oils that carry coffee's flavor solidify in the cold, so grinding cold beans produces a weak, flavorless brew. The best way to store coffee is in an airtight, opaque container at room temperature between 60–70 degrees F with minimal temperature changes. Buy small amounts you'll use within 2 weeks, because once you open a bag, the clock starts ticking. Oxygen is another enemy of coffee, so many enthusiasts prefer vacuum-sealed containers. If you must store coffee long-term, the freezer is better than the fridge, but only freeze once. Divide coffee into weekly portions in airtight bags and thaw only what you need. Refreezing causes irreversible moisture damage. Number 5. Garlic. Storing garlic in the refrigerator can be a serious mistake. Not only does it lose potency, but under certain conditions, it can even become unsafe. When garlic is chilled, it often starts to sprout. Those green shoots aren't just visually unappealing, they're bitter and can cause digestive discomfort. Even worse, the cold, damp environment of the fridge can encourage mold growth, some of which produces mycotoxins, harmful compounds that pose health risks. Research from UC Davis found that garlic stored in the fridge loses up to 50% of its allicin content within 10 days. Allicin is the compound responsible for garlic's antibacterial, antiviral, and heart-healthy properties. Refrigeration literally cuts the benefits in half. Texture suffers too. Cold breaks down garlic's cell walls, leaving cloves mushy and difficult to chop. Ever tried mincing refrigerated garlic? It turns into a sticky paste that clings to everything. The best way to store garlic is in a cool, dry, well-ventilated spot, ideally around 60–65 degrees F. Use a mesh bag, basket, or other breathable container. Keep garlic away from plastic, direct sunlight, and stove heat, which can accelerate sprouting. Properly stored, a whole head can last up to 6 months, and once broken, use cloves within 10 days for peak flavor. A bonus tip: room temperature garlic releases more flavor than cold garlic because its essential oils remain fluid. Your dishes will taste far better when garlic is stored correctly. Number 4. Bananas. Bananas in refrigerators are a terrible combination. Chill them, and you'll soon see blackened, mushy fruit. But the real damage is happening on the inside. Cold temperatures trigger chilling injury, a phenomenon where the tropical fruit's delicate cells break down. The cell membranes rupture, enzymes leak, and the banana begins decomposing from within. A study by the Queensland Department of Agriculture found that bananas stored below 56° F lose up to 80% of their vitamin C in just 5 days. Cold also stops the fruit from producing new nutrients, halting the natural ripening process. The blackened skin signals that the banana's natural defenses have failed, and the brown spots indicate dead tissue, which can harbor bacteria and mold. The best way to store bananas is at room temperature between 5670°U FF. Hang them on a banana hook to prevent bruising and allow ethylene gas to circulate, which helps the fruit ripen properly. Want to speed ripening? Place bananas in a paper bag with an apple. To slow it down, separate the bananas and wrap the stems in plastic. This reduces ethylene gas by up to 40%. Once the bananas reach your preferred ripeness, you can refrigerate them for a day or two, but the skin will darken. A better option, peel and freeze them. Frozen bananas are perfect for smoothies, creating a creamy texture without the need for ice. Number 3. Onions. Placing onions in the refrigerator is one of the biggest storage mistakes you can make. The damage begins immediately. Most fridges have humidity levels around 95%, while onions require 65% or less. Excess moisture penetrates the onion's outer layers, creating a perfect environment for mold. Some molds produce aflatoxins, highly carcinogenic compounds. Even before mold appears, cold temperatures convert starches into sugars. Research from Texas University found that refrigerated onions increase their sugar content by 270% in just 2 weeks, drastically altering their flavor and cooking properties. Texture also suffers, as ice crystals form inside cells and rupture them. Refrigerated onions lose their ability to caramelize properly, making those golden brown restaurant onions impossible to recreate. Whole onions should be stored in a cool, dry, ventilated place, ideally between 45–55 degrees. Avoid plastic onions need to breathe. Use mesh bags, baskets, or even pantyhose. Keep onions away from potatoes, as the gases each emits can accelerate spoilage, and avoid direct sunlight to prevent sprouting. Cut onions are different. Once sliced, they should be stored in the refrigerator in an airtight container and used within 7 days, as the exposed surfaces are vulnerable to bacteria. Whole onions, however, should never go in the fridge. Number 2. Tomatoes. Tomatoes are one of the most commonly misunderstood foods when it comes to storage. Refrigeration doesn't just change their taste or texture, it actually shuts down key genes responsible for producing flavor. Researchers at the University of Florida discovered that keeping tomatoes below 54° flash deactivates hundreds of genes, permanently altering the fruit at a genetic level. Even after warming up, the tomato never fully recovers. This is especially important for seniors. Tomatoes are rich in lycopene, a potent antioxidant that helps protect against heart disease and some cancers. Cold storage reduces lycopene availability by up to 65%, and refrigeration destroys the enzymes needed to absorb even the remaining amount. The result is a tomato that has lost both flavor and nutritional value. The texture is affected too. Ice crystals form between cell walls, causing microscopic ruptures that make the fruit mealy and grainy. To store tomatoes properly, keep them at room temperature, stem side down, between 55–70°F. Avoid direct sunlight, but allow indirect light to preserve nutrients. Do not store in plastic bags, as trapped ethylene gas accelerates rotting. Ripe tomatoes should be consumed within 3–5 days. If you have a surplus, consider making sauce and freezing it. Cooked tomato products actually have more bioavailable lycopene, and freezing preserves it perfectly. Number 1. Avocados. We saved the most critical one for last: avocados. Refrigerating them can be disastrous. The damage is so profound that all the other foods on this list seem minor in comparison. Avocados are packed with over 20 essential nutrients, including healthy fats like oleic acid, which are vital for brain function, especially in seniors. But cold temperatures trigger lipid peroxidation, oxidizing these fats into harmful free radicals. Stanford University researchers found that avocados stored in the fridge lose 90% of their antioxidant activity in just 4 days, including vitamins E and C, which protect against inflammation, support eye health, and enhance nutrient absorption. Cold also activates polyphenol oxidase, the enzyme responsible for browning, which works overtime in the cold, breaking down cell walls and converting healthy compounds into bitter substances. Texture suffers as well. Creamy flesh becomes stringy and watery. Separating from the fiber perfectly ripe guacamole becomes a sticky, oily mess. How to store avocados. Keep unripe fruit at room temperature, 65-75 degree F, in a bowl with air circulation. Speed ripening by placing them in a paper bag with a banana. Ripe avocados can be refrigerated for 2-3 days if necessary. For cut avocados, leave the pit, brush with lemon juice, and store in an airtight container with an onion slice. Conclusion: the truth about refrigeration has been hidden for too long. These 9 foods represent lost nutrients and wasted groceries. And more importantly, missed opportunities to improve health during our golden years. Every nutrient counts when supporting cognitive function, fighting aging, and maintaining overall wellness. Store these foods correctly to reclaim their full nutritional potential. Your body deserves nothing less. Share in the comments which of these foods surprised you the most and whether you've been refrigerating them unknowingly.